Hello, and welcome to another video episode of Product and Cake. Today, as you can see in the virtual studio, is Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Hi, Gonche. I'm fine as always.
I'm
And how
good.
are
I'm
you?
good. In the office today, as you can see, it's a little bit blend behind me.
That looks more than the usual phone box
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
office. Where do you have now your own
Yeah,
room
it's a
finally?
bigger room. It's quite nice. And we have a very nice hybrid system in the office for the calls. And if you have a meeting here and also a call, it's really cool. It's when someone is talking and the person moves, the camera follows that person.
Hmm.
And if someone is sitting down or like more people are talking, it just divides the camera into two cameras and shows both of them. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. We have also that thing in the office in the meeting room, and it is a great fun to investigate in which angle the camera is still recognizing you. So when the meeting is boring, you can just move like that and find out
When
when
is the
it is
breaking
changing.
point?
It's, yeah.
Do you have a check-in question for today, Paul?
Yes, I have
Nice.
one. A
Nice.
scary one. So, if you would be a ghost, would you go and hunt people or scare people?
Hmm. I'm not sure. So the thought of having fun and like sending messages and stuff is really, really cool and I like it. I don't think I want to scare people necessarily. Maybe some bad people, like why not? If someone is actually a bad person, like if someone is in the middle of a robbery, then yeah, I will go and scare them. Like you know how good I can be for the society. That is cool.
Something like
Exactly.
Superman ghost,
Super
Superwoman
ghost.
ghost.
um but I saw this meme that a grandma asked their grandkid to publish or give away a card in in her funeral to all of the guests at the funeral, and it was a small uh, Ouija board, and it has written on it, "Let's keep in touch." I think that's super cool. I want to do that. How about you?
That is
Yeah.
that is very funny, yeah. That is a very, very nice idea. Yeah, I have a lot of technical questions for this question. I mean, what would I be capable to do as a ghost? Right? Can I move things? Can I talk? Can I make noises? Can I make friendly or strange noises? But in general, I really hope somehow that when you die, that you can live or that you can watch again your whole
Mm.
life, right? I mean, this is a common story, but it would be super, super nice to just revisit everything, like a huge retrospective in the end, to to just go through and you can't do anything anymore,
I
but
don't like that.
yeah,
I don't want
yeah,
to I don't
remember
want
things.
to relive all of my mistakes. I already do. At 3 in the morning, I'm just like,
Yeah, you have the mistakes, you have also the nice things you can.
fast forward the mistake.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that. And then I imagine I sit on a cloud and watch my loved ones and some former colleagues to see what they are doing and who is the new podcast host, the new podcast co-host.
Yeah, right.
No, I think I would more
Okay.
observe. I
Okay.
think I'm done then.
Yeah, I think I still like to meddle a little bit. Yeah.
So, no matter which way you want to choose, I think for both you can come up with a strategy, right? You should maybe do a strategy. And this is exactly the topic we want
Yeah.
to talk about today. Give you icing on the product strategy. And I guess we need to distinguish here between product strategy and
Mm.
engineering strategy because maybe these are different things. But Let us talk today about product. And to make it transparent, there's a nice article from Bandhan Jot Singh. He wrote, "This is the only strategy framework you need, period." And he raised some great questions about that. And this is basically our inspiration for this podcast
Yep.
episode today. When you hear some of your team members and they came up to you and say, "Goncho, we need a product strategy. We are doing just random stuff all the time and everything is changing every day. Where is the strategy?" What is your answer in that cases?
So I might be, first of all, depends on the company size and the way the company is working, and if the company is product led company, if the company is tech led or whatever, the way that we deal with strategy needs to be different. In some cases, I do see the company strategy and the product strategy being almost exactly the same. And in some cases, there are going to be more separate than other. They are never against each other. It needs to go hand in hand. We cannot, one department cannot say we are going that way, another say no, we're going that way. Um, but the focus for each department strategy or each areas of strategy can be separate. I would first start with, in general, what a strategy is, which in my opinion is a tangible systematic plan of action that allows us to achieve a specific goals. So there are some important parts that, first, it needs to tell us why we are doing this, what it needs to achieve at the end of this, and it needs to be a actionable plan, and it needs to be in a way that is understandable for everyone. By actionable plan, I'm not necessarily saying that it needs to have the detailed feature list, etc., but when it needs to be a document, or it needs to be a the plan needs to be set in a way that when you read it, when you hear it, you know, this is the first action that I need to take. This is the next step I need to take. It is not a product vision, it is not a roadmap, and it is something connecting the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Brandon also lists a few things that, from his perspective, strategy
Hmm.
is not. And I think it is very valuable to clarify that
Yeah.
upfront. What is exactly the vision or the mission? Do you need to have one, or do you have just an approach to experiment? As you said, it depends very much on the company and on the product team. And I think bringing in this clarity of what you try to achieve with that strategy is super important. And to the list you just mentioned, I would like to add 2 points, because from my point in the strategy document, it should be also described the
Hmm.
starting point.
Exactly.
Where are we at the moment? What are our assumptions?
Yeah.
What do we what constraints do we have, right? It is a vision is just out in the, like, next to us as ghosts in the clouds, but a strategy is more earth connected. So starting with that current situation is super important. And then actionable items, I would definitely agree. And what do you think about guidance? Because depending on the team size, it is so helpful to develop some guidance from your strategy. So people, I mean, we all want to decide for our teams, right? And be independent. So a guidance is for me one of the best tools to make sure to draw the area where you are able to take
Yeah.
decisions.
I'm not fully understanding. Do you mean that the guidance needs to come before the strategy, or from the strategy we need to drive guidance for the specific actions that we want to do?
I think guidance is
Yeah,
part of the strategy.
exactly. I think in based on my experience, when we are talking about strategy, it is not necessarily creating the borders for us. It is not necessarily, because for me guidance is, this is the borders and this is the area that we are allowed to color in. But what I see strategy being is not only that this is our border, but this is the area that we want to focus, and we want to start coloring at a 50% angle from the top right corner to the bottom left.
Yeah. Do you have a concrete example in mind?
My concrete examples are for the products that I'm currently working on. So
Are you allowed to share
not
something, or
those. So
can you?
I need to
Uh,
think a little bit about um, other products. Let's take a product by an example. Do you have any examples in mind, and then we can just ideate on what the strategy for that can look like?
yeah. Yeah, you may remember our awesome episode together
Yeah.
with Lukas, where we talked about my
Mm.
imaginary new social podcast player that focus on good news. And today we arrived at a team of 50 people already, and we have some paying customers. And yeah, the feeling of version 2.0 is very high, very pressuring, right? Because the first product is working, some people love it, we have good growth rates, but it does not feel modern anymore, and we have a list of new features we want to integrate, and also we need to think now about how to make a little bit more stable revenue with
Okay.
it.
Just a note. The strategy is not about making money. The strategy is not about, um, it's not a monetization plan. So how to make money, where we need to monetize is not coming from the strategy. That is a
Where is it coming from? Because I'm depending on the product team to deliver features I can sell. Do
no.
I?
You are, so monetization strategy is a complete different concept than a business strategy, than a product strategy. How you want to monetize your product is highly relevant and dependent on the values you are capable of creating. And the values that you are capable of creating can come from the strategy, needs to come from the strategy.
But what should be there first in that case?
In my opinion, it's not always going to be the case. There are some cases that we actually start from monetization, but in my opinion, first and foremost needs to be the problem statement, what we are trying to solve, what value we are trying to create, and based on that, how can we monetize this value creation? What problem are we solving? So how much this painkiller is going to be worth? It is. So please don't add how to make money in the strategy.
That was not a strategy request, right? That was just an
Okay.
explanation where we are in the company. So you, as my head of product or as my
A
chief product
nice,
officer, you
nice title.
now
Promotion.
can now yeah, awesome. It's so fast. Give us some points you would answer in the product strategy from
Okay.
that perspective. Or maybe we can I'm just looking if we can make it a little bit more concrete, right?
Yep. So the current product that we have, uh, as an example, the vision is sharing bite-size happy news in your ear. Something like that can be the vision of the company, that you want to be the this product wants to be the main product or the main source of happy news in the customer's ears. Word. Oopsie, my chair broke.
Oh, and that in the brand new office. Damn.
And so from there, we can think that right now, one of the most things that we need to work on, or as part of our strategy, can be maximizing the possibilities for users to listen to it. So we, as an example, currently we are only bound by, uh, I don't know, available in Spotify. And when our vision is that we want to be the number one happy news producer in customers' ears, first thing we want to put in our strategy is possibility to be in users' ears. So increasing our channels from just Spotify to the rest of the solutions, maybe having a radio station, etc., can be part of this strategy. Another point in our strategy, or the first, I would say, we need to define the building blocks of the strategy based on our vision. And then for each one of those building blocks, we can define descriptions and why this is a building block, why do we need to do this, and what does it mean.
But how do you make sure that this does not be seen as a roadmap? Right? I mean, expand our channels to other podcast platforms could be also an
It
item
can be,
inside a
yeah,
roadmap, right?
but it is not a roadmap. You're not saying when this is going to be delivered, how this deliverable looks like. The point in the strategy is that we need to first focus on being everywhere. First step of our strategy is being everywhere. Second step of our strategy can be, um, I need to really think about it. So we are talking about a concept that is just thought about in 5 minutes. So it's not as
5 minutes,
what?
two.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it's
just
not
two
going to be
minutes.
as
Yeah,
easy.
we need to.
And also because it is not a real product, we do not have the current state. So we don't know what
Yeah,
are the current
yeah,
challenges. As an example, one of our current challenges is creation of this news, finding of this news. And then that can be as part of our strategy, that we want to become this source of news creation as well. So
yeah,
creating a group of researchers for this news can be part of those strategy.
yeah, definitely. And then, depending on how many people are working in the team and are able to discover new things, they can read the strategy and they can also come up
Yeah,
with new ideas, right? If it is abstract enough and is not telling us, okay, our strategy is to launch on Apple Podcasts in summer this year, this is more
yeah,
the roadmap. But saying, okay, we increase our reach and we have a independent team, a self-controlling team, there's a better word for it, I forgot it, that is then investigating and checking, okay, which channels are there, what is inside of our numbers already hidden to give us a hint on where to develop to, and so on and so on. And I think that really gives people the opportunity to come up with their own roadmap and also with their own ideas on, okay, what can I do, what is my experiences here,
exactly.
what can I bring to the table to really find new ways in this overcrowded media
Exactly.
landscape.
And
for
to
this
make it a
happening.
little bit more tangible for us, we can have for when we want to create a strategy, we kind of need to have a mental checklist to go through to be able to get to the strategy. One of those items is, uh, as in general, why do we think that we need a strategy? Which the answer should be quite clear, because we want to streamline, etc., etc. But it is important to put it again in front and center to make sure that everyone understands why this document is needed and how it is going to be used, and what this document is
Yeah.
not, to make this quite clear with everyone involved. The second step that you already mentioned is to know where we currently are, what is our vision, and where we want to go. And for the vision is a little bit more fluffier, it is a little bit more long term. For the strategy, we need to have very specific timeline, not necessarily not 6 months or so, but 3 years, 5 years, etc. 3 to 5 years is, in my opinion, quite a sweet spot, because the strategy is quite dependent on your current state and on the market dynamics. And market dynamics in the current world changes every 2 years max, but some industries it can take 5 years, 10 years. But the sweet spot for creating a strategy for me is 3 to 5 years, depending on the topic.
Yeah. And also, a very good addition to that point is make clear when you talk again about the strategy. Nothing worse than putting a lot of effort into these documents, then using it for a while, and then they just got forgotten.
Exactly.
Instead, make it super, super visible, and also put it already in the calendar that in 6 months, 12 months, you have a
Check
strategy
in.
revisit,
Yeah.
check in, and to make sure the market dynamics are still as assumed. And also, that is so beautiful. If you have the current situation, you can also compare in 12 months, okay, are we still there, or does it change completely in this crazy world we are living in?
Exactly. And from that, you also need to drive, what do you need to change, what opportunities, what risks are there that are the highest and most important risk you have, and from there, or opportunities that you have, and from there, this is another checkpoint in your strategy, and that you, before creating the strategy, you need to have answered for yourself.
Right. Awesome. I would say that is the first icing on the strategy piece of cake. And let us write Brandon an email if he wants to join us and dig more deeper into product
Yeah,
strategies.
sounds good. Let's do that.
So don't forget to subscribe and recommend this to your peers that are working on the strategy or not working on it at the
I
moment.
should.
And follow us on all channels. Follow us on all channels. This is what I
Yeah,
tried to say.
and if you, it would be also good if to hear from you, what framework do you use currently for your creating of your strategy? Have you built your own
Right.
framework?
And check in. That's the most beautiful thing. Or read through the blog post and tell us we didn't get it. What is written there? Cool. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gonche. See you next
Bye.
time. Bye.